How you doing, guys? I was in work the other night and we didn't really have much to do, so we're passing back and forth some funny videos. This crazy thought came to my head. Now, none of my coworkers are familiar with Watchtower or JWs, so I showed them a video of Stephen Lett. Not 5 seconds into the video, they are laughing their asses off and saying, "What is wrong with his face?" Even your average Joe knows something's not right with this guy. 2020 has been without a doubt the screwiest year, I think, in recent history, if not in all of history altogether. Even the most asleep person is becoming aware that something's not right with this. All except Jehovah's Witnesses. They honestly believe that they know what's going on because they've got the inside info. When in reality, they don't. Is it me, or JW videos, JW broadcasting seemingly getting to be less and less spiritual and pushing the same narrative as mainstream media? When I heard both Stephen Lett and Anthony Morris pushing COVID-19, 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 it sounded just like the narrative from mainstream media. But they're not going into a whole lot of other details except why they're keeping everybody socially distanced. No, there is no such thing as social distancing. What is going on is forced isolation. And Watchtower is now doing the same thing to the JWs. The funny thing is, Jehovah's Witnesses believe that the authorities will be hunting them down. When in all honesty, although Watchtower will eventually be put out of business, the authorities have no interest in going after Jehovah's Witnesses for one reason. They are the perfect citizen for the elite's New World Order. But here's a case scenario. Watchtower finally says Armageddon is hit. All hell's about ready to break loose. We all know now there's a lot of friction between the United States and China, and it's very volatile. That could go any second now. Well, Watchtower tells all of Jehovah's Witnesses to go into their safe spaces, wherever this may be, whether it's a bunker or a bug out or whatever, but they tell them Armageddon is about to hit. So they all go into hiding. Now the elites are counting on the United Nations taking over the West entirely, especially the United States. So, supposing they succeed, now the entire world is under the one world government. The New World Order has taken control. Jehovah's Witnesses are told Armageddon is over, paradise is here. Now, if you remember the teachings, when we were told that, no, you wouldn't be perfect right off the bat. The world is still going to be a mess because there's going to be all those dead bodies to clean up and all the repair work. So when they come out of this and step into what they really believe will be paradise, they won't be surprised that they're no younger. They still feel sickly. It's going to take 1,000 years to raise them to perfection. Well, they're told, okay, start cleaning up the mess. As they're working, they start noticing a lot of other people that aren't Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, I guess Jehovah spared them. The same case scenario, they start missing some of their own who aren't around. Well, time goes on, and they still believe this is paradise. And even as time goes on, if some of them wake up and realize this isn't paradise, this is just a worldly government, by that point, it won't matter, because of their own teachings, they will still stay in subjection to the superior authorities. Now, the reason why Jehovah's Witnesses will be the perfect citizen is because they're taught and they're trained not to stand up and argue, do things without question, remain in subjection to the superior authorities. Whether they believe it's paradise or not, they will stay in subjection. Let's face it. Jehovah's Witnesses will not stand up for any country, even though they may enjoy the freedoms of that country. If that country is in trouble, what do? They do absolutely nothing. Jehovah's got to clean this mess up anyways. Of course they won't do anything. They will do nothing about the pedophiles in their own organization. Why would they do anything to save the country that they are living in? Jehovah's Witnesses were trained this way, and that's not going to change. But it's pretty obvious from Watchtower teachings that this is the new system they're praying for. You remember the older literature when they used to refer to the new system as a new order. I think it was in the early 90s when then President George Bush started talking about the new world order, that Watchtower had to change their teachings and change their wording just a little bit. Unfortunately, although many JWs have woke up, many of them have not. And they're not realizing that not only has Watchtower betrayed their own God and their God, they have betrayed Jehovah's Witnesses. Do you remember the old teachings? How that the United Nations was that eighth king. They were the beast. In recent years, they've changed that. They say nothing about the United Nations. And why? Because they betrayed their own God by becoming an NGO member of that organization. And regardless what they say, they want to say a library card or whatever, there are certain requirements that come with being an NGO member. See, they can no longer teach their own teachings. They have to teach what the United Nations and the rulers of the United Nations, those elites at the top of the pyramid, they have to teach what they want them to teach. So basically, they keep the JWs in the dark. This is why their spirituality and their teachings have gotten very, very narrow. They're pushing what they're told to push. COVID-19 right now is all you're going to hear, much like the mainstream media is pushing. Yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses know there's a lot of rioting. They know we're this close to war, but the average Joe on the planet knows that. And in all honesty, Jehovah's Witnesses know far less than the average person on the planet. And that's because they refuse to open their eyes. They refuse to look around. They believe everything Watchtower tells them. And Watchtower is now getting their information from the beast. Now, eventually, the UN is going to turn on Watchtower, much like the rest of false religion. However, Jehovah's Witnesses, they are perfect citizens for this upcoming New World Order. Whether or not it succeeds, I don't know, but that's not what I'm discussing right now. I'm just saying that if it does succeed and the New World Order does take over, JWs will just be a perfect setup for it because they question nothing. And when their beliefs and their religion is taken over by that one world religion, before that is taken out, they will accept that. Have you ever wondered why? Watchtower, they talk a lot about Christendom. They come down heavy on it. But yet, how much do they say about Islam or the Hebrew faith? And very little, if anything. It's because Watchtower is an anti-Christian organization. They will do and say whatever they have to put the Christian faith down because they are not Christians. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to bring to your attention. I will talk to you in a few days. You guys have a good day. I will see you soon.